Hi everyone, I'm Monica Lombardi. I'm your Stryker representative. I'm here to show you guys how to use the power load today. What we're gonna do is show you the power load, how it should work 99.9% of the time and how it will work for you. It's very easy to use. And then we're gonna go through some manual overrides and some troubleshooting techniques in the event that you do have, a couple of occurrences that can happen that will. I'll show you how to easily override those. So first off, the power load is going to charge your stretcher. So before you guys just had a stretcher where you would have to change the battery regularly, now you still want to rotate that battery probably once a week, but you're going to get inductive charging from the power load when you're in the transport position or when you're plugged into shoreline. To release the power load, you've got this red button right here. You're going to push down on that all the way. It's going to jog up. You're going to pull it out. You've got your plus and your minus button, so same thing as working a regular power stretcher. Plus is gonna add legs, minus is gonna retract the legs. So I'm gonna press the plus button. Now, when you hear that tone change that just happened, you can release your finger from the button and the arms are gonna drop down, and now I'm completely ready to disconnect. So to disconnect, both of these do the same thing. You're gonna press this little center button in the middle of the console, and it's going to disconnect for you and you can pull your stretcher off. Now when you're on your call, all you're going to want to do is lift the power load up and guide it into the back of the vehicle and just shut the doors, go on your call, and then when you're ready to reload, pull it out. Now to reload the stretcher, you're going to notice that the power load here has LED flashing light indicators. This indicates that you have power and that you're ready to reload the power load. So to reload it, you're going to guide the stretcher all the way in. You're going to joggle it until it shows green LED lights. So now they're a solid green. You're connected and you're ready to lift the stretcher up. So now you want to subtract the legs. You're going to press the minus button. The arms are going to lift the stretcher up. Legs are going to come up. And now you're ready to guide the stretcher all the way back in. So keep your hands on the stretcher the entire time. You don't want to release the patient into the vehicle. So same way as you normally would, control the stretcher. And now it's going to sit back down. And you're going to notice blinking here. This is the charging happening. So you want to get a volunteer to do it once?
Sure.
Okay.
So release this handle right here?
Yep, push it all the way down and pull it back. It's going to jog up for you. You're going to guide it out. Now you want to add legs. And now you can release the button when you hear that tone change, and then center button to disconnect. Perfect. And then to reconnect, you're just going to guide it back in. Lights are going to turn green. You're going to press the minus button. Stretcher's going to come back up, and then you're going to roll it back into the vehicle. It's very easy. Now pull it back out for me. So we have another option. If you've got your front operator and your side operator, you're going to add the legs. So another way to disconnect, rather than pressing that center button, is these red handles up here on the side of the power load. So this is a manual release. So if you have a side operator and it's easier for you, you can just disconnect that way as well. And that's these right here. Easy enough? Any questions?
What if it gets stuck when you're pulling it out or starting to lift the legs again?
If it gets stuck where?
Either when you start to pull it out.
When you start to pull it out, it shouldn't get stuck. There's a couple of things that could happen. So one of the things that we were going to review, if you lift the legs up just a little bit, so stop right there. So sometimes it can happen where you're pulling it out and you're on an uneven surface and the legs aren't all the way touching. On the side here, you've got controls on the right-hand side of the power load that are going to indicate for you a manual dump and up and down. So here you can actually still control the system from the side. And this is a manual dump button. So by pushing this button, it's going to release the stretcher down for you. And it's going to actually allow you to release the hydraulics on the arms. So they're very slowly moving down. You guide them down with your hands like this. And now you're ready to connect again. And then you can also connect the arms by pressing the up or down arrow on the side of the power load right here. So you always have complete control to release it. And so if the front controls aren't working, which they wouldn't if you had a battery issue, for example, then this is where you would control the system. So you still have power to the system. That's one of the most common things that I've heard happen is if you're on the uneven surface, the wheels don't come down to the ground all the way. That's when you would use the manual dump button. So you should not have a battery issue because you're having inductive charging happening. However, in the event that you did lose connection to your stretcher, everyone here has used a manual stretcher, right? So you still have the ability to bring a powered stretcher down to manual. You've got your manual hand release here, and you've got the legs. So you have power to the power load, but you don't have power to the stretcher. So I'm gonna have you connect and I'll be your side operator. So you're gonna guide the stretcher in. So you've still got power to the system here. So what you're gonna do, because you can't use those controls, is you're gonna arrow up. So your side operator has connected the stretcher. And now you're gonna pull in on this, and I'm gonna lift the legs up. So you're compressing the hydraulics, and you're guiding the stretcher in. And there you go. So that's how you would manually use the stretcher. This should not happen. So, 99.9% of the time you're not going to have this issue, but I wanted you guys to be able to see that you can use the manual stretcher with the powered system. So then to pull it out, you're going to push down on that lever again. One quick comment on that, you're doing a good job with it, but when you push down, make sure that you push all the way down and then pull. Yeah. Because sometimes people will push halfway down on the button and start to pull, and that is a way that it can get stuck. So you're going to drop the legs down, and I'm going to press the down arrow to release it. And now because you don't have control there, you would have to use the manual hand release on the power load. Simple?
Absolutely.
And that's how you do it. If you want to practice again. Any other questions so far? Now you can power wash this power load. What you would want to do is turn the system off if you're going to wash it, but you can wipe it down with your standard wipes, keep it clean. I know some services will blow air into it because sometimes debris comes off the bottom of the stretcher, especially in the winter, and we'll get into the power load, so keep it clean. I will show you too. I won't subject you here. I won't subject you to no battery, but let's drop it down and get it disconnected. I'm gonna have you swing it over to the side so that I can get the power load in. So in the event that you're having an issue with the power load and you have to finish your call, you don't have to take the vehicle out of service while you're waiting for someone to come take a look at it. All you're gonna do is push into the back of the vehicle. So these are still built like antlers, so you can still connect the system. This is going to be like a manual system now because you don't have the power load. So you're going to want to catch the safety hook. Exactly. So you guys have been doing this for years, so you know this is natural for you. But just wanted to show you. A lot of people think that they have to come out of service if they have an issue with the power load. You're still meeting all the state guidelines for safety. You are not coming out of this system. And you're still going to get the inductive charging. But you can use the power load manually.
How do you release it possible now without using the power load?
How do you release it to take it out?
Yep.
You would just pull it back out and release it manually. So go ahead, I'll show you. You're just going to pull it back out.
Will the antlers come out with it?
Will what come out?
The antlers?
What do you?
I think what he
Oh
means
no,
is
they're not. They're stuck back there.
Okay,
You're
so-
just gonna pull it out the way that you always did. So push this down and pull it. You're gonna want to catch the weight of the stretcher.
Push that button, start the power on the side. Okay.
Yeah,
That's all I was looking for.
exactly. Sorry, I misunderstood your question. Yeah, so you just want to catch the safety hook. So it still releases from that lever right there. And I will pull the system back out for you. Want to swivel it to the side. Can you push that lever for me? Actually, one thing I am going to show you guys, this actually happened to Jonathan recently. These are triggers right here. These two trigger locks, they actually control this. So if you ever have a situation where the stretcher is not fully coming out of the power load, this is what you would pull. You would pull these both towards you and pull the stretcher out. And Jonathan actually experienced this, and he was able to get the stretcher released really easily. So I want some people to practice the manual dump button and controlling it from the side just so that you see what that feels like. So you're going to minus button. And just push it right in. It's going to sit down for you. And now you're charging. Now you're going to push it to pull it out. It's going to jog up. You're going to guide the stretcher out. And now you want to add legs, plus button. Center, there you go. So connected, I'll have you feel the manual release. And then pull the manual release up. There you go. And then you can guide the stretcher out. Oh, no. Yeah. There you go. So if you push it in, I'll have you do the manual dump. Lift the legs just a little bit. Press plus button. See, you don't have to actually do that anymore. What you're doing with lifting the stretcher up, because this is going to connect it, you don't have to, I know that's habit, but you don't have to do that. All you do is press the button, minus, and it's going to actually lift the stretcher for you, so you don't have to do any lifting on your end. So if we press the plus to about here, this is where you would see it happening if you're on an incline and you have pressed the plus button all you can, and you can't get those legs down any further. Push in that big button. That's going to slowly release the arms, and now put your hands on the arms, right here, this red arm, see how it's moving down? And you're just going to push them all the way down. So it's going to feel heavy because you're releasing the hydraulics manually. Exactly. And then you want to make sure they're all the way down before you reconnect again. And then from the side, you would press the arrow up if you ever wanted to control it from that side. And then you can press the minus button to lift those legs up. There you go.
Pretty straightforward.
Center console button. Okay. Step out, a little lower. Minus. There you go, step out there. So if you wanted to use the manual dump button, you would press that big center button, push it in really hard, and now you've dropped it down. And then you want to feel what the arms feel like. Put your hands in the button and put your hands on the arms right here. So push the button and then push the arms down.
Oh, so you have to keep holding that.
Yeah, so you have to keep pushing in the button, exactly. And keep pushing them down. Yep, you want to push them all the way down. Let me see. All the way down. So you want to make sure you can't go down any lower, because then you can recontrol it. So then you're going to press the arrow up. And that's how you would connect it from the side. And then you would want to press the minus to get the legs up. So you can control it from both sides, and you know that you always have the side of the power load to control the system and to manually release everything down if you ever have to.
Now the structure has a weight capacity. Does the gate itself have one?
Yep, so it will hold a 700-pound patient plus the weight of the stretcher, which is 125 pounds, plus about 50 pounds of equipment. So the max weight capacity is actually 870 pounds. Yeah. You'll feel the difference. If you do have a 500-pound patient on there, it might cry a little bit, but it will absolutely lift that patient.
Should we stop when it starts smoking?
Nah. That won't happen.
Never know.
Any other questions?
Pretty simple.
Yeah, it's really easy to use. I'm, thrilled you guys have it. Excited to continue to convert the fleet over. It's gonna definitely make it more efficient for you guys to have, a better patient care, safer environment for your patients and for yourselves. Save your backs from all of that extra compression that you're getting. Always lifting the stretcher like you were just
30
doing.
years ago.
Yeah, I know. But I think it'll make a huge difference for the department. I'm thrilled to be here with you guys to show you how to use it.
Awesome, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.